A very good evening once again. Welcome to the second edition of News Tonight. It's me, Michael Jordan Lukoma, with the smart lady herself, Elizabeth Nakakoni, our sign language interpreter. In a first story, Vice President, the retired Major Jessica Alupo, has urged religious leaders from Teso sub-region to be at the forefront in the support of the parish model government program. Alupo said that government appreciates the role religious leaders play in mobilizing communities. She was on spot assessment of government programs in the districts of Soroti and Katakwi, as our reporter tells it in this report.
The Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo, has concluded a 3-day working visit to the districts of Soroti and Katakwi, where she conducted an on-spot assessment of government programs. The Vice President started activities with meeting religious leaders, whom she urged to support government programs in their areas, saying that religious leaders play a cardinal role in mobilizing society and that government appreciates religious contribution to the socio-economic development of the country. She alluded to the government parish development model, which is to be rolled out soon, saying religious leaders will be key in helping and working with the parish leaders in ensuring that the program is implemented transparently to lift Uganda out of poverty.
Here is not to accuse anyone, first not to accuse anyone, but to find a solution together. And I want to appeal to us to look at this issue as an issue which affects us as a region, but also affects us as a country. Because when we produce from here and we are productive from here, our farmers enter a money economy, they impact on the national economy. And we are saying with the parish model which is coming in, we want to move to middle income status.
The leaders, who included Bishop Joseph Ejilu Oliach of the Catholic Diocese of Soroti, Bishop Kosea Achili Odong of the Church of Uganda Diocese of Soroti, Asmano Chen, the Teso Region Kadhi, and Teso Pastors and Elders Association, Robert Echeru, pledged to work with government in all programs aimed at improving the living conditions of the people. Alupo also held a meeting with farmers and management of Soroti Fruit Factory to assess the progress of the plant and also iron out issues affecting both productivity of the factory and farmers' efforts in supporting the supply of fruits to the factory.
The storage problem which this factory has, is it the consumption problem which the factory has? Those are the things I've come to collect in this meeting. Forget about those PowerPoint presentations. Just, I know those answers are in the head. Just tell me those answers quickly. I will put them in the paper, present them to cabinet, and solutions are found for our farmers, the food farmers. So that tomorrow when the RCC goes to the villages, grow more oranges, grow more oranges, grow more mangoes, we can get motivated to grow because we know where we are going to sell them.
She also held a separate meeting with the management of Soroti University, with whom they discussed impediments affecting and derailing the progress of the institution, including land, funding and managerial issues, which she promised to follow up with the relevant stakeholders.
Take keen interest in the girl children, because the girl child is as equally important as the boy child. A girl child can equally excel the way the boy child can excel.
While in Katakwi, the Vice President handed over scholarships to students who excelled at various levels but would otherwise not continue with studies due to limitations of funding by their families, and urged students to study hard to support their communities in future. She later at Katakwi District Hospital handed over medical equipment, medicines and assorted supplies to the Katakwi District COVID-19 Task Force and District Health Team to support the efforts of fighting COVID-19 and also other related services. The Vice President, who held several other meetings with various groups, also delivered some of the pledges President Yoweri Museveni had made to various areas in Katakwi during his last visit to the district. Abiona Francisco, UBC News.
The Uganda People's Defense Forces, the UPDF, has refuted reports of attempted mutiny within soldiers currently deployed on peacekeeping mission in the Equatorial Guinea. Speaking at a weekly press briefing held at police headquarters in Naguru, UPDF's deputy spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Ronald Kakurungu, said that the mutiny is impossible with the UPDF ranks owing to its command and structure as a professional body. In this report, the UPDF Land Forces Commander, Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has dispatched a team of investigators to Equatorial Guinea to establish the alleged reports from UPDF soldiers deployed implicating the contingent commander, Colonel James Katou Kaliebada.
Uganda soldiers were first deployed in Equatorial Guinea in 2017 under a peacekeeping mission, and the forces were mandated to undertake mentoring Guinean military forces along with other assignments, including security of the country's president, first family, and other key installations. At the moment, Uganda military and mentoring team troops are deployed in 3 sectors of Bata, which is the task force headquarters, Malabo, and Mongomo. Media reports last week revealed the claims of UPDF soldiers deployed under the Uganda military and mentoring team on mission in the West African country were at the precipice of revolt over alleged mistreatment and discrimination meted on them by their immediate commanders. However, in a media briefing held at police headquarters situated in Naguru, Kampala suburb, UPDF deputy spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Ronald Kakurungu said the attempted mutiny within soldiers currently deployed on a peacekeeping mission in Equatorial Guinea is false.
I want to state that the stage at which UPDF is revolts are not possible at all. Not. Those are things that were sorted, and they are of those long-gone regimes where soldiers could revolt. Even if there's a mistake, we find a way of how to iron them out.
The alleged reports from the soldiers accused the contingent commander, Colonel James Katou Kaliebada, for his short temper that has resulted in 2 arbitrary suspensions and expulsions. The soldiers are reported to have threatened to turn their backs on him. However, Lieutenant Colonel Kakurungu says, unlike armies of the past, UPDF is a well-structured institution with organs to handle internal grievances, meaning cases of mutiny are impossible.
So the Commander Land Forces took note and has sanctioned the investigations. Investigators are already on the ground.
But Lieutenant Colonel Kakurungu acknowledged that there are issues of misconduct within the Ugandan contingent in Equatorial Guinea, for which the Command of Land Forces, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has dispatched a team of investigators to expeditiously handle.
Because, as you know, our laws do not allow members of the forces who are not authorized to give information to the press or the media.
Abdul Nasir Lugama, UBC News.
Security forces have responded to the presidential address on human rights violations. UPDF has promised to check its strong-hand approach towards the public with warning over confrontations against the armed forces.
Over the weekend, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni publicly rebuked country's security forces for using excessive force against citizens.
Nobody should be in the uniform of the country if he does not respect the people of Uganda. Now, when you respect the people of Uganda, you must observe the following. Don't bark at people. Tobogorera bantu. That's not pointing okutunga kakumu. at people. That's not a people's army. People's army, you don't bark at people. Don't beat people. Don't beat members of the public. Don't beat even criminals.
In response, the forces admitted mishandling the public.
However, as a result of continued concerns of torture, he has pledged to continue reviewing the efforts in the police to ensure appropriate guidance on the use of force and authority actually respected.
The functions in the mandate of the institution I serve, torture is not provided for as what we must do. And what I was clarifying is that a number of times people who appear in court claiming torture are not coming from the prison, but are actually asking to go to prison.
The Uganda People's Defense Forces have committed to soften approaches towards the public. However, UPDF have the public over confronting armed soldiers while on duty, which may warrant retaliation.
If you attack people who are working and they are armed, you are putting yourself in danger because they will certainly defend themselves. And depending on the degree they will use to defend themselves, I cannot know at that particular moment. But it's completely wrong, risky and dangerous to start attacking patrollers who are on duty. Even somewhere on vehicles, they throw stones at some of these patrollers.
In the move to strengthen the country's internal security and peace enhancement, UPDF will recruit 10,000 local defense unit personnel.
These recruitments are part of open and clear processes. You are required to be a citizen, should be of good character, age between 18 and 25. You must have sat at least senior 4. All these requirements will come in.
In the course of last week, Uganda police recorded 73 major incidents from the 22 regional operations. 52 lives were lost, where 29 murder cases followed domestic violence and mob justice. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
From Karamoja, police have advised the public to avoid using lonely routes which may lead to loss of lives. This comes at a time after a 24-year-old student of Arapai Agricultural College, Lamongin Abraham, was shot dead by suspected Karimojong warriors in Panyangara sub-county, Kotido district.
Moroto Regional Police spokesperson Longole Michael has advised people in Karamoja sub-region to avoid lonely roads. It follows a 24-year-old Lamonjini Abraham who was killed by suspected Karamojong warriors in Panyangara sub-county.
The public to stop using motorcycles in some of these lonely roads, because when you are alone, you become a target to these criminals. Let us avoid the lonely roads in this period of disarmament. Use vehicles, especially public means, as they have been opened by His Excellency the President.
Therefore, police will strengthen security and checkpoints.
Cooperation with the community to ensure that these people who have gone with their guns in hiding are isolated. For example, a person cannot stay on top of this mountain when he is not eating. It is the people within here who take for them food. Maybe riding a bicycle, carrying a butia, to area where there are no people. So we should be able to, we shall inform our security who are the checkpoints. We start questioning these people. Why are you carrying 20 chapat if you are not a collaborator?
Meanwhile, over 30 people were arrested for defying COVID-19 regulations.
During the course of last week, joint security forces arrested 35 people who were flouting the presidential directive. 28 were cautioned and 7 are still in our custody. 25 motorcycles were impounded and were given express penalty.
At the same time, joint forces in Karamoja sub-region have recovered 57 guns in a Usalama Kwaweto operation.
We recovered in total, so far we have 57 guns recovered.
Last week, over 77 herds of cattle were stolen and security forces managed to recover 75. Abdul Nasser, Lubam and Moriniga for UBC News.
Hearing of electoral petitions has commenced in Mbale High Court with heightened security beefed around court premises. However, journalists were not allowed to attend the proceedings. The road leading to the High Court was also sealed off to avoid traffic jam.
Bishop Masaba Road was closed for some time to all vehicles. According to the traffic route chart, vehicles were to be diverted to Hull Road and to Sports Club. At the High Court, 6 cases were scheduled to be attended to. These were James Walswaka versus Geoffrey Mutiwa and 2 others, Joshua Kasibo Omayende versus Arthur Wako Mboisi and others, Mafabi Aisha Nabulo versus Flores Wamala Nambozo. Others are Wanyoto Lydia Mutende versus the Electoral Commission, Nyakecho Anet versus Electoral Commission, and Ochua David versus Ogwari Polycarp. However, during the fixing of the hearing date for the petition of Wanyoto Lydia versus the Electoral Commission, all journalists and security officers present were told to exit the courtroom. According to sources in the courtroom, Judge Andrew Byabashija ordered only the petitioner, Lydia Wanyoto, and her lawyers, and the lawyers for the respondents to be in the courtroom. Lydia Wanyoto was represented by 3 legal firms, Nangulo, Mugonda, and Company Advocates, Springs and Company Advocates, and Mugabe, Shaka, and Company Advocates, while the respondent team included Electoral Commission, Dagira and Company Advocates, Mutembule and Company Advocates, and Lukwago and Company Advocates. Speaking in an interview, Medad Segona said, "We are surprised that the petitioner, Lydia Wanyoto, through her lawyers, prayed to amend the petition, an issue the court allowed, and they were served with a new petition." Segona said they are going to study it and report back on Monday next week with the response.
Well, the petitioner wants to amend her pleadings. She has, I don't know if she has made new discoveries, and has applied to court to give her time to once have us with the application for amendment. And we have agreed with court to come back on Monday and urge the application for amendment.
However, Wanyoto's lawyers said they have not abandoned the first petition, but have come up with specific areas that will lead to the nullification of the problematic areas leading to the declaration of their client the winner of the election.
To specifically address real areas. The grounds are being maintained, the evidence is being maintained. We are just specifying where exactly and how exactly we want the court to appreciate the anomalies and their effect.
However, Connie Galwango said it was not fair the court to block the media from covering court proceedings. She said this is the only way the public can be able to follow what is happening in court.
I first of all don't know what the new accusations are. We are yet to know why they have abandoned the old petition and have switched to a new petition.
In a related development, High Court in Uganda also commenced electoral petition hearings rising from the just concluded elections. The first case to be heard was the contestation of electoral results from Bukoli South constituency in the Mayingo district that was filed by former MP Stephen Mayende Dede against elected MP Abdu Adidawa. The hearing of the case was presided over by Judge Geoffrey Namundi a senior residential judge from Mbale High Court.
Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has failed to account for 14 billion shillings allocated to them in the last financial year using Uganda airline trademarks of Fly Uganda. The trade committee chaired by Mbarara Municipality legislator Mwine Mpaka established that the whole intention was to market Uganda as a tourist destination using Uganda airline colors, the crane and the log Fly Uganda. The line Ministry of Tourism through Uganda Wildlife Education Center still wants 44 billion shillings to establish regional zoos across the country.
1.2 billion shillings.
This money are fundraising.
This money will fundraise, but also including the good collections.
So if we access the statement, can we be absolutely sure that you have never withdrawn from this account? So now I'm asking you again, if we access this statement, are we for sure guaranteed that you have never withdrawn? Since you are saying it's going to be consolidated fund. They actually have multiple accounts and they are doing fundraisings. Now the challenge is all the money they are getting from fundraising internationally is going to a certain account which we are yet to establish, and they are spending it at source. So we do not know how they spend this money. We do not know how much this money is, but we have also come to discover that they have 1.2 billion seated somewhere on account for over a year. We wanted
disturbing. So we are waiting for the minister tomorrow, who is again going to come with them, for us to look at what could be the anomalies. Of course, we know the law does not allow them to spend on source, but we are also very interested to see how can that process be expedited, that if an entity like them has money on account and yet they are financially handicapped, it seems like a paradox.
UBC News Tonight. Moving on. The woman member of parliament for Masindi district, Asimwe Florence, has delivered 3 tons of maize seedlings to Masindi district farmers. Pakanyi village have benefited from this venture, and residents appreciated the call and support by their member of parliament.
I'd like to thank His Excellency, President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Kaguta Museveni Tubwabulwa Akiki, for the seeds that has given us through the woman member of parliament, Masindi district. So these seeds, we have received it, but we want more, so that to add on.
I'm sure the seeds that were given are quality seeds that are going to be given to our farmers so that they get better yields. Each MP was given 3 tons, which is equivalent to 3,000 kilograms.
Private teachers in Entebbe, under the umbrella body Initiative for Teachers Advocacy, have met to remind themselves on the responsibilities they hold ahead of a possible reopening of schools. They are worried for their learners who have stayed away from school for so long, and they say their minds have been crowded with non-educational content such as films and home life.
You know that a student can use a smartphone more than even a teacher can?
Teachers in Entebbe are concerned over learners' overstay outside school, that it will affect the speed in which they grasp.
They should counsel them and encourage them that this is not the end. We shall beat COVID and you come back and continue with your studies and be the person that you want to be in future.
They have threatened to quit the profession since they have neither been catered for and regarded as important in the country nor given support even since the first lockdown.
We are tired of lamenting and crying because we as teachers, we cry to our head teachers who are also crying to the head directors, who are also crying to the ministry, and the ministry in its response, they are telling them, maybe sell what you have and you begin, or maybe sort of your loans.
Because most of the teachers had lost hope.
The meeting by private teachers was intended to plan how to cope due to schools taking long to reopen. They are seeking to indulge Ministry of Health to teach the general public on how to avoid the spread of COVID-19 using their profession in order to survive.
Therefore, we want to see maybe the Ministry of Health can use the teachers as a campaign drive to see that they can maybe teach other teachers or other communities onto the effects of COVID.
During the meeting, Mutesi Annabel advised teachers to stay focused by involving themselves on other side businesses as an alternative source of income.
Because they haven't been able to get salaries from their employers, survival has been a challenge. Can there be a way that they can be brought together and get funding or capital to boost their businesses that they had started?
He called on students currently at home to work hand in hand with their teachers. The meeting aimed at preparing teachers for the post-lockdown school reopening after discovering that some teachers are not willing to go back for teaching when schools reopen. Sula Kagugube filed the story for UBC.
We thank him, Sula Kagugube, for the story. And at this point, let's take a very short break. On return, we'll have business, international and sports news. Please keep it with us.
Today in history.
Idi Amin Dada was a Ugandan military officer who served as the president of Uganda from 1971 to 1979. He was born in Koboko to a Kakwa father and a Lugbar mother in 1946. In 1975, Amin became the chairman of the OAU, a pan-Africanist group designed to promote solidarity among African states. Idi Amin went into exile, first in Libya, then Iraq, and finally in Saudi Arabia, where he lived until his death on 16th August 2003. His death was today in history.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
The world record has been broken by almost exactly 2 seconds. He's Joshua Cheptegei of Uganda. This is superb running.
I've shared my story with the world, with you, but you've only seen the half of it. Because to truly know and appreciate my story, you will have to see it for yourself. My home, my Uganda. From the breathtaking waterfalls of the Nile to every beautiful sunrise and sunset, from the amazing blankets of green to the priceless treasures that lie within. Along the way, I have met some unusual friends, the world-famous silverbacks. When I see them, I behold Uganda's treasures. So yes, you see me and celebrate Uganda. I assure you, there is a lot more in store. I have lived here for years, but even I am yet to see its full glory. Join me. Let's take on the Pearl of Africa together.
Therefore, understanding this model. Hey, excuse me, lady. Who do you think you are? A queen?
Hey, haven't you heard? Get Airtel Chillax bundles and browse like a queen.
Get Airtel Chillax bundles that do not expire and browse like a queen or king. Dial *175# or use My Airtel app.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
UBC News Tonight. Welcome back from the break and thanks so much for watching. Minister for Security and MP Rujumbura County, Major General Jim Muhwezi, has appealed to the people of Rukungiri to invest emyoga money in starting up small businesses. While the LC5 Chairman Rukungiri District Geoffrey Chomukama called on the beneficiaries of the emyoga fund to use the money as an appreciation for vote, not to look at the money as an appreciation for voting the NRM government in the just concluded polls of 2021.
Following the demand by the Abdu Katuntu-led Committee of Parliament that the government submits a detailed list of beneficiaries of the 77.7 billion allocated to Uganda Microfinance Support Center, emyoga, 260 billion, Youth Fund, 130 billion, and Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program, 29.5 billion. The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, 2 weeks ago, accorded the 529 lawmakers a week-long recess and directed them to investigate the specific irregularities in the emyoga funds disbursement exercise, following reports of lack of transparency among technocrats that superintended over the process of disbursing the said funds that they were supposed to be managed by Microfinance Support Center and coordinated by Ministry of Finance. In Rukungiri District, MPs have been scrutinizing the disbursement of the emyoga funds. Security Minister and MP for Rujumbura County, Major General Jim Muhwezi, interfaced with leaders to establish whether the resources trickled down to the intended beneficiaries. The funds in Rukungiri are at 85% recovery.
So icyo ni ikintu kikuru munonga okureba ngu program ya President Museveni y'emyoga abantu bagikwasere bagikunda kandi twashanga ngo hariyo abantu ebibina rukaga magana mukaga ibitakatungire nabyo hati biliyoni bishaka okutunga.
Many small and medium enterprises, women and youth have benefited from the emyoga program. Major General Jim Muhwezi appeals to leaders to create awareness on emyoga funds.
Parish board izi sente tuza kureta tuta umiruka izo kuhinga no kurisa nyenda ngo abantu bagejumba jumberemu bagitemwa amani kuko bagatire omuyemyoga rero kirete entunguka aho nabo.
Rukungiri LC5 Chairperson Godfrey Chomukama told the beneficiaries not to treat the emyoga funds as a token of appreciation for voting the ruling NRM government.
So that people come to know that it is the loan which they are using, and after some time they have to pay back.
Emyoga program was launched in July 2020 as a government program targeting all Ugandans. Mutonyi Hilda, UBC.
Still about emyoga, leaders in Kibale district have shared challenges they're facing in accessing the funds. They explained to MPs led by Dr. Emily Kugonza, who encouraged them not to give up.
The consultative meeting by MPs of Kibale district with circle leaders was held at the district headquarters following a directive by the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, to all MPs to return to their constituency to ascertain the progress of the emyoga program.
The purpose of this program is to reduce poverty and to strengthen, to deepen financial services in our localities.
Circle leaders report, among other challenges, long distances to Centenary Bank, high fares incurred for transport, lack of trust among members, and a requirement of 30% savings, which they say is too high.
We've put in much, like we were told at first that every member has to pay 20,000, that is 20,000, 10,000 for membership and 10,000 for registration. And we thought that money eventually would help us in doing other things.
I advise that next time if government is bringing a program, they should first consult the beneficiaries of the program, because these people know how things work. The challenge we meet is people design programs and bring them to the people. Even the technical staff Actually, when you see the technical staff at the district, they normally consult in the center gives this, they give so many instructions.
The MP Buyanja East constituency, Emily Kugonza, pledged to table the people's concerns before Parliament.
So that we have really come to the tail end of the whole exercise. Because had it not been for COVID-19 lockdown that happened recently, some of them would have already been able to access the money. So we are encouraging them to persist it, but also the foundation for any circle anywhere in the world is savings. Supposed to convene as a region. For us, the Kibale team will be able to make a report on our findings, and then these will be fed into the regional report. And it is this regional report that will be presented on the floor of Parliament at an appointed time by the Speaker of Parliament.
The woman MP Chibale, Noreen Chisembo Basemera, advised the concerned beneficiaries to remain patient as all problems presented by the SACCO leaders are addressed.
One of the challenges is the 30% savings that the associations have to remit to the SACCO before they can access the money from the SACCO. And that has been a biting issue that probably we will have to take at a higher level to see how it can be handled.
MPs of Kagadi district, led by Honorable Musana Eric, have also engaged with Buyaga East constituency SACCO leaders. Musana Eric, the Member of Parliament, and Chomuhendo Jennifer Mbabazi have pledged to represent their concerns.
Number one, we have found out that there are several conditionalities, which conditionalities have affected the Emyoga groups. Number two, we are finding a very serious gap between Emyoga, the district and the center, and that one becomes a very big problem. Number three, we are finding out that the center has been giving guidelines after guidelines, and some of
members of the Kampala Central Emyoga Beneficiaries SACCO have hailed government for introducing the fund. The SACCO is among the successful associations which were contained in the last presidential address as one of the key beneficiaries of the 30 million package.
Ever since the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, sent MPs for a 2-week assessment of the progress of the Emyoga Fund, many beneficiaries have cried foul. During the recent address by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, he noted out some projects that have registered tremendous progress.
The SACCO received seed capital of Uganda 30 million from the Microfinance Support Center, and has mobilized a savings of 32 million. To date, a total of 62 million has been disbursed, has been paid out to all the 14 associations.
Among the successful beneficiaries is Kampala Central Emyoga Beneficiaries SACCO, whose largest membership is drawn from peoples with disabilities in Kampala.
We called all the associations that were involved. Said, now look, the money has come. For those who have been thinking it's a different thing, the money is real. And here is the statement. Here is your money. Now, let's get organized and start working. Many felt it was a joke, yet it was a fact. Now, when we called them as associations, we trained them again.
With over 150 members, 10 associations and a seed capital of 30 million given to the cooperative 4 months ago, members are continuing to register success.
Loan applications ziriawo nyingi naye nga twakawaka abantu 37 katugenda mwana naye nga sente tolabanga zezitakola ki zezitamala naye nga abantu basevinga.
The SACCO chairperson Zawede Harriet attributes the success to teamwork. The association is now supplementing its savings with commercial bookmaking.
Twasalawo ne tugamba katandika project y'ebitabo. Twatandika okukola ebitabo. Ebitabo ebyo naye nga bituyamba kola kubanga era tukyalinamu okusoomoozebwa nti nno abantu amasomero tegannatandika kola ki tebannagaggulawo olwa COVID.
Members of Parliament equally hailed government for the project but attribute its limited impact on bad timing.
First of all, the money was rolled out in a political season. It is politically motivated, and and even the beneficiaries are politically selected. The people running the program are all politicians.
For instance, in Busia, the people got Myoga money on account in December, but up to now, that money has been put on a demo account. It cannot be withdrawn. To an extent that people are saying, please give us back our shares that we put in terms of the saving. So I see a little success story in Myoga program unless when the concept and the methodology of implementation is changed.
Government will soon consider other left-out categories on the Myoga program, like bricklayers. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
The Central Bank August Monetary Policy Report shows that Uganda's economic growth rate has been projected to fluctuate between 3.5% and 4%. However, Uganda's economic outlook is facing uncertainties hinged on how well the COVID-19 pandemic will be managed on both a public and private level.
The Bank of Uganda has projected that economic recovery for financial year 2021-22 is hinged on how well the countrywide COVID-19 vaccination is managed should the targeted 20 million Ugandans receive the vaccines. Producers and consumers, along with enabling recovery policies, will influence a more stable economic growth trajectory.
The outlook continues to be highly conditional on the consignment of the spread of the pandemic, which will be premised on the vaccination rates and the extent to which SOPs are observed. The emergence of vaccine-resistant variants would, however, prompt the reintroduction of restrictions on gatherings and mobility, which will derail the economic recovery.
Whereas the value of private sector loan approvals rose to 2.25 trillion Ugandan shillings during the quarter to June 2021, from 2.17 trillion shillings in the quarter to March 2021. The value of loan applications dropped from 5.01 trillion shillings to 3.78 trillion shillings in the quarter to March 2021. This trend reflects low demand due to the slow pace of economic recovery. And this means that private sector could grow at a moderate pace in the near term.
Economic growth is projected to return to 6 to 7% in fiscal year 2024-2025, indicating that economic activity is expected to remain well below the pre-pandemic path for an extended time.
The current economic uncertainties continue to affect prices of goods and services, with inflation expected to be lower in the near term than in the previous forecast round.
Annual core inflation declined slightly to 2.5% from 2.7%, primarily due to a decrease in prices for services. Inflation will rise gradually through the year due to temporary effects of the pandemic containment measures, but is forecast to remain below the 5% target in the near term.
It is against this backdrop that the Central Bank, Bank of Uganda, has decided to maintain the central bank rate at 6.5%. Now, this decision is consistent with meeting the inflation target of 5% sustainably in the medium term while spurring economic recovery. Reporting for UBC News, Wadulo Mark Arnold in Kampala.
Guinness agencies have identified 4 Ugandans who have produced extraordinary works. The Ugandan list include Sasha Vibes, a video director hitting airwaves across the continent, Angomo, a comedian, Malaika Nyanzi, an award-winning actress and media personality. Azawi, as an ambassador, came onto the scene with a fresh take on Afrobeats, and the new campaign will encourage individuals that embody the spirit of black shines brightest to bring their optimism and self-confidence to create professional and unique works. The recognition of the 4 Ugandans earmarked the launch of Bright Shines Brightest, a Pan-African campaign in Western Central Africa to highlight extraordinary works.
Be alert! Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Thank you so much for watching. And on the international scene, opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema has defeated incumbent Edgar Lungu in Zambia's presidential election. The Electoral Commission released final results from 156 constituencies, barring one. In the final tally, Hichilema secured 2,810,777 votes, while Lungu in second place had 1,814,201 votes out of the 7 million registered voters. In a packed results center in the capital Lusaka, the Electoral Commission Chairman Esau Chulu declared Hichilema President-elect of Zambia. The massive win meant Hichilema does not have to contest any second round runoffs after meeting the constitutional 50.1% threshold for an outright winner. Members of Parliament from Uganda have expressed hope in the growth of African democracy following the outcome of the Zambian presidential elections. In the just concluded polls, opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema beat incumbent President Edgar Lungu, who has conceded. Whereas some Ugandan MPs think Uganda should emulate the Zambian example, Soy County Legislator Chemaswet Abdil Fadil says Uganda's current president has never lost an election.
Based on the revelation of the ECZ final results, I will comply with the constitutional provisions for a peaceful transition of power.
This is the outgoing Zambian president, Edgar Lungu, conceding defeat on Monday afternoon. He lost the presidential elections to opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema. The tight race saw Edgar Lungu trail with 1,814,201 against Hichilema's 2,810,757 votes, prompting him to concede.
I would therefore like to congratulate my brother, the President-elect, His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for becoming the 7th Republican President.
It is a move that has been welcomed by a section of members of parliament from Uganda.
When I saw the president of Zambia conceding defeat, this is what we need in mature democracy, and this shows that Africa is maturing.
Since 1991, they've had 6 presidents. I think that is really significant.
This is the example that legislators want Uganda to emulate.
The Zambians were committed to the cause to the extent that even someone who stood for more than 6 times, at least today, has won.
And I hope that we can really learn a lesson from this as opposition to stay resilient to the cause.
However, Chemaswet Abdifadil, a member of parliament for Soy County in Kwen district, thinks otherwise.
Of course, Museveni won an election and Bobi Wine lost an election. That is democracy. So it meant that, of course, there was an electioneering process, of which an electioneering process won't come without democracy.
Describing Uganda as a democratic country, Chemaswet says there is nothing to emulate from Zambia.
First of all, President Museveni has never been defeated in an election, and he said, okay, no, I'm still in power. But of course, Museveni has been winning elections, so we don't have anything to learn from them, because first of all, with us, an incumbent has never lost an election.
This is the 6th time Hichilema has run for Zambia's top job, 3 times of which he has challenged 64-year-old incumbent Edgar Lungu. It is the 2nd time a sitting president loses an election in Zambia. Kenneth Kaunda lost, conceded and handed over power to Frederick Chiluba in 1991. Henry Okrut, UBC.
From Zambia, we'll go straight to the world of sport. After a successful 2020 Summer Olympics, focus for Uganda now turns to the Paralympics that start on the 24th of August till the 5th of September in Japan. Uganda will be represented by 4 para athletes, notable of who is swimmer Usna Kukundakwe.
At a very tender age, Husna Kukundakwe has continued to scale the heights, with her qualification for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games testimony to that. Husna will represent in 2 events, starting on 26th August in the breaststroke, in which she plans to better her 1 minute 36 seconds time, and later in the 100 meters freestyle, scheduled for 31st August.
In the 100 breaststroke, my target is to make a new personal best and hopefully reach the finals. And maybe when I reach the finals, maybe I could be among the first 3, but my main goal overall at this Paralympic Games is to inspire so many people around the world with disabilities that however young I am, I have made it to the Paralympic Games and nothing should stop you from reaching them.
Coach Muzafa Mwanguzi is confident that after almost 2 months in camp at Hotel Africana, Husna will give her best.
The most important thing for me is to try to swim faster than she swam before. We want to swim a much faster time and also improve our world ranking. And I think that would be a good sign for us. If we can move from the position she's holding and go higher, and that would be a good thing. Although we also put our expectation around, trying to swim into the finals, because she's not so far away from that. So if we can get to the finals, then we get to the finals and we can set another goal. Her current ranking, she's ranked 12th. So the final will take 8 swimmers, so you can see she has to knock off like 3 swimmers.
Husna, in the company of her mother as chaperone and manager, depart for Japan tomorrow Tuesday, purposely for acclimatization and a pre-games event.
Yeah, it is a great pleasure because Husna was nominated to attend the main press conference. That's a very big event, and we hope she represents us well also, because she's going to talk about Uganda, she's going to talk about swimming in Uganda and her experience with the disability as a child and how she has coped up with the whole situation of being disabled and being in sport.
Uganda will at the 2020 Paralympics be represented by 4 athletes, with Rita Asimu in badminton, while Peace Oroma and David Emong are from athletics. John Barnes, Sentamu, reporting.
After a successful exploit at the Sekafa Clubs Championships in Tanzania, Express FC has returned to a joyous reception.
Congratulations, Express Football Club, the champions of the Sekafa Kagame Cup 2021.
Uganda's scandal in sports has continued to light upon Express FC of winning the Sekafa Club Championships in Tanzania.
They have done it, and they are currently in cloud nine. Excited they are.
Express FC beat Malawi's Nyasa Big Bullets in the final by a goal to nil scored by Martin Chiza. That result has resonated well and even caught attention of Ugandans, including the Minister of Education and Sports, who at the reception was represented by the State Minister of Sports, Martin Obua.
6 days ago, Team Uganda that represented our country in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics was received in this same room. I am happy that today we are here to receive our giants, the giant club within the East and Central Africa, the Express FC of the Republic of. Our dream now must be looking forward to the continental level, at African level. Meet those giant clubs. DRC Congo, you know them. In South Africa, you know them. In Zambia, you know them. The dream must now be focusing on how do we position ourselves as Express FC to be the best club in Africa. And never underrate yourself. You are best in your own. You are a distinction in your own talent. Don't tell people that I am a credit. You are not. You are a distinction. Believe in yourself. Believe in God.
Express FC chairperson Chirio Wachiwanuka lauded the team for immaculate displays that have added the Sekafa to Uganda Premier title and enabled side of a treble if all goes well in the Uganda Cup, in which they play Bull FC in the semi-finals later this month.
Now we are the champions of Uganda, champions of East and Central Africa, but sir, they are going to rest today and maybe tomorrow. See you start business again because we need to chase the third cup, which is the Uganda Cup, which is coming up soon. Then when that is done, we need to go to the continent and finish off the tour of duty for this year. So welcome back, congratulations. We are so proud of you. Today is the government's day. We shall have our day. Like I talked to the CEO, we're going to arrange our day when we meet and discuss our in-house matters before you start your next journey.
National Council of Sports Secretary General Dr. Bernard Patrick Ogwell assured Ugandans that through a sustainable effort to promote sports, such is a reward.
I note that the future of the sport in this country, and that is the beautiful game football, can now be appreciated in terms of very responsive governing structure and management style being ushered in Express Football Club.
Express FC is proud of players such as Maurice Juko, Muzamir Mutiaba, Eric Kambale and Enoch Walsimbi. Focuses for the club in the short run is the Uganda Cup semi-final against Bull FC before they engage on the continental football in the CAF Championship League, in which Sudanese outfit El Melik is their first round opponent between 10th and 12th September.
Express FC.
We congratulate the Express FC for winning the Sekafa champions to Uganda. Government has financed Federation of Uganda Basketball Association, which is now facing a race against time to get the men's basketball team, the Silverbacks, ready for the Afro Basketball Tournament that gets underway in Rwanda on the 24th of August. Through National Council of Sports, 340 million shillings was handed over in cash to the Federation of Uganda Basketball Association's President Nasser Serunjoji. Uganda will in Rwanda play in Group D alongside South Sudan, Cameroon and start against Senegal. The tournament that attracts Africa's best is of 16 teams, with hosts Rwanda in Group A that has DR Congo, Cape Verde and Angola. Group B is made up of Egypt, Guinea, Central African Republic and Tunisia, while C has Nigeria, Kenya, Mali and Ivory Coast. Uganda's Silverbacks are one of the teams expected to put up a great showing, especially through players like Ishmael Wainwright, who has just signed for American side Houston Rockets. Others on the team should be Tony Dweleba, Benjamin Komakech and James Okello. That way we come to the end of news tonight. Thanking you so much for having been part of both the bulletins at 8 and now. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. With Elizabeth Nakakoni and the whole team, wish you the best of the night. Alitubela Juliet has the weather forecast report and we'll leave her to give it to you.
Hello there, welcome to the weather report. I'm Alitubela Juliet. The weather is really amazing. Most times we talk of isolated showers. This means that it could rain in Kampala, but you find that in Kawempe it's really wet and areas in Bwaise are totally dry. These are isolated showers. So for today morning we had sun intervals for most parts of the country, apart from a few areas in the islands where we had showers. And in the afternoon we had these isolated showers dominate some parts of our country. From the rainfall report received by 9 a.m. this morning, it indicates Tororo with 15.7 millimeters, Gulu 10.8 millimeters, whereas Masindi received 4.6 millimeters. And from the satellite image, it indicates that the rain belt is diffuse and contributing to these isolated showers we have talked about. And you find that we have southeasterlies coming in, pushing in moist winds, also contributing to this same type of weather. For tomorrow morning, we are expecting light rains for some parts near Masindi. Elsewhere, we shall have sunny intervals. In the afternoon, we expect a pickup of isolated showers, ones we've talked about, in some parts across the country. Also, sunny intervals will dominate in the central, the northern, and the eastern. For temperatures will rise to 29 degrees centigrade for the Karamoja region together with Kasese areas. Around Lake Victoria Basin, we expect 28 degrees centigrade, and for Kabale Islands, a maximum of 23 is expected. Elsewhere on the globe, we are expecting Dubai and Johannesburg to have sunny conditions. Hong Kong, sunny intervals are expected. For New York and Berlin, we expect light rains at a maximum of 18 degrees centigrade for Berlin. Thank you for keeping me company. Join us tomorrow same time for another edition. Have a good night.
Wake up to Good Morning Uganda, weekdays on UBC.
Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios, this is Good Morning Uganda.
On the